So, good evening, Mr. Jayashankar. So, we're not able to hear you. You're on mute. Ms. Janani, Dr. Janani, thanks for joining.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. So, you'll be
Hey,
able to.
Dr. Janani, so delighted to have you here, enlightening
Thank
all
you.
of us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Janani will just give it another 5 or 6 minutes and then we'll start. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. What about your presentation? You want to check it up by putting it? Or will you do it at that point of time?
Hi, PVJ.
Can you hear me, Madhu?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Hello?
Hello. Yes, sir. I can hear. We can hear you.
Can you hear me, Madhu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All
Can you hear
right.
me?
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll start around 3:35. We'll wait for a few more participants to join. Janani, shall we begin?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
We'll begin. We'll begin. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Madhubati. I'm the Deputy Secretary of the Chamber. On behalf of the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to today's insightful webinar, Speak with Your DNA to Live Your Best. This is the 6th webinar in our health series, and we've had a few physical programs as well in the last year. We are happy to have Dr. Janani Dakshinamurthy with us today. Her expertise in genetic science and wellness will guide us through some interesting intersections of health, lifestyle, and our unique genetic makeup. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Janani. After the presentation, Dr. Janani will be answering your queries. So if you have any questions, you can post it in our chat box. Now I request Mr. P.V. Jaishankar. He is the chairperson of our healthcare committee. I request him to formally welcome and introduce Dr. Janani. Thank you, sir. Jaishankar, sir. And Janani, you can just hold on. I think he's having
No
some.
worries. No worries.
He'll introduce you and then you can begin. Okay, thanks. We are sorry. Actually, I think he's having some connection problems. I'll
No
introduce you, Janani. Just hold on.
Yes,
Okay, just
yes.
a minute. Hello. I hope you can hear me. Janani? Yeah. Yeah. So we are sorry, actually, Mr. Dr. P.V. Jayashankar's system is not working. So I'll introduce Janani now to everyone before she makes a presentation.
I'm online now, Madhu.
Okay, sir. Then please do, sir. Please do.
Yeah, just in time. Sorry about
Please.
this, folks. There has been a power failure here going up and down. Any case, it's wonderful to have Dr. Janani, a young person, talking to us today. We are mostly used to talks by 50 plus senior people, and it's so nice to have a youngster in our midst and talking about an emerging area of DNA and genetics. I think this is an area which has been popular for the last couple of decades, and it's been growing in application and accuracy over the years. I think over the last few years, the advent of AI has also created a lot of impact in this area. I'm not sure if Dr. Janani is going to talk about that. But just to introduce Dr. Janani Dakshinamurthy is a founder, scientific director, and geneticist at Gene Aura Private Limited. She practices as a clinical geneticist with many hospitals in Chennai, including SRM Hospital. And she has been primarily involved in developing the Gene Aura's data analysis pipeline, specifically for the Indian database. That's very important because genetic databases are, a lot of genetic databases we have are from the West. So there's not much from a Caucasian or Indian viewpoint, and it's very important that she's done this. She's also the founder of the Women's Endocrine Health Foundation and the PCOS 360 community in Chennai. She has published a number of research papers in this subject and is very active on the academic side also. She is a national postdoctoral fellow with IIT Madras and a distinguished adjunct professor at Savita University. She is a certified functional nutritionist, a level 2 certified genetic counselor, and a recognized woman scientist of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. I think having all these credentials at this stage of her professional career is really impressive. And we are really fortunate to have her give some insights into this exciting new area of knowing your DNA and how to utilize it to our benefits. Nice to have you here, Dr. Janani. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I know power cuts are very frequent because of the summer season and stuff. Yeah, so thank you. Hopefully, no, I'm not going to take too much of your time. I know it's an afternoon after lunch at 3 p.m. of 4 p. almost 4 p.m. on a Friday evening. But yes, like when I first met Dr. Saraswati and Dr. Madhu in the chambers, they didn't know that DNA could be put to use on the positive side, because genetics is always associated with some rare disorders or syndromes, which usually has no cure, and it's almost a very saddening part of genetics. So and it is also social stigma in our country. People don't want their daughters getting tested before wedding, and a lot of stigma also associated, social stigma associated along with genetic testing. But then when I said, we could make positive use of the information which is there in our DNA, like, making it into a better wellness aspect, or, utilizing that information to make us more healthier and, fitter. In fact, globally, we've been doing it for reversing age, something under the brackets of longevity. When it is being used for that, and then, so a lot of metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes, obesity, and all comes low. The rate in the incidence in a country comes low, and it is more advantageous. So I am not able to again present, but I will request my teammate Priya. Can you just put up the slides so that we can take up quickly? Yeah, thank you, Priya, and I'll also request you to operate the slides for me. I will go to the next slide. So before we actually move a little more deeper, quickly on the chat box. Can I have a few answers on what do you think of wellness? What is your idea of wellness? A few interactive. I'll make this a little interactive so that we're not bored. And since we are not in face to face, I would just have a few answers on the chat box so that yeah, physical and mental well-being. Okay, to live free of diseases, good body and mind, holistic. Yeah. So when you talk about holistic, a lot of them come back to good food. That is, when I say eating healthy and exercising regularly is the key holder, or that is what is considered by everyone as very important for our well-being. But wellness is a little more deeper than that. We just don't look at food. Apart from food and exercises, there is more to it. Anybody who's still having good food plate, and who's dedicating every day half an hour, 45 minutes towards exercises, but still they can remain unhealthy. We usually have 7 pillars of wellness, if you can see. So one is, of course, nutrition. Second, if you can see here, is financial. So at least in the crowd to which I'm addressing today, we can understand that finance might be okay, but still there are a lot of stress which is associated with financial stress, which in the current world, that is one of the major stress. So we, though, as sitting on this side of the table, usually we cannot help them on the financial stress, but then we also ask them, on the difficulties, and maybe that is where the stress starts. We just help them identify what is the stress over there. And then movement, exercise, and rest. So I don't just talk about just exercise over here. Movement and rest is also a part of that. So when I say movement, apart from your exercises, you dedicate a half an hour or 1 hour every day for exercises, and then you sit the whole day. That is not actually very beneficial. Like you must have seen very frequently in Instagram and social media posts that sitting for long hours is also equally dangerous to smoking, or so it is not that impact of that much of impact, just sitting without movement. So apart from your dedicated exercise hours every day, movement is important. And apart from this movement and exercise, recovery is the most important. If you're not able to give your body the time to recover from that day's damage, then the damage is going to just keep accumulating. So as much as exercise is important, it is also very, very important for you to have a good night's sleep for recovery. And then relationships and communication. So when it comes to relationship and communication, it is very, very important, because at home, at workplace, this is the place where you're surrounded with people on an everyday life. These are the people whom you come in contact with every day. In case your home is not at peace or your workplace is not at peace, that is going to give you a chronic stress, which you may or may not recognize. So it is very, very important to have good relationships and clear communications. And then emotional and spiritual well-being is also very, very important here. So when I was talking about relationships and communication, there should be somebody strong with on your emotional support. Okay, in case it's not possible, you must develop some habits for emotional support. And our country is a very heritage, a cultural and a heritable country with rich heritage, where spirituality is given a lot of importance. For a lot of them, especially understanding that the crowd today, which is on the meet, is of a little on the adult group. Spirituality actually gives them a detox. It gives them a mental detox, in the sense, a de-stressing center for a lot of them. And it can be anything. It need not be just temples or mosques or churches. It can be anything, spiritual. We even have grounding techniques where, at least in a week, we request people to walk without their slippers on the sands of a beach, or inside a forest, or on a garden or a grass bed or something. That connectivity, even that is one kind of spirituality. So it is something which we might have to sit and understand what actually de-stresses you, and then we can actually take in more. And then comes intellectual well-being. So now we are in a very competitive world, and everybody I'm seeing here today in the meeting are all holding really good positions. But once you don't develop intellectually, you are left behind. That that will actually give a very big stress on you. We might not even realize it. So, yeah, it's good that MCCA puts up a lot of educational series. So, being intellectually well-being is also very, very important. And environment. Though we live in a urbanized city, but there are ways where how we protect ourselves and our family from the pollution and have a good environment around us, so that that well-being is also given. Or we might have to take breaks in between, go to a place filled with oxygen, and then detox yourselves and then come back. Priya, next slide. So the title, it says speaking with your DNA. I was talking about wellness and in 7 pillars of wellness, but how do we relate that to your genetics? That is the crux of my talk here today, or that's the crux of GeneAura's wellness tests, or what we do. So we don't look at wellness at just one point. We don't give the food intolerances when it's common, and we don't tell what macronutrients you require, which is usually done. But apart from that, there are genetic traits which actually contribute to all the 7 pillars of wellness. Say, for example, 2 people in the same stressful work environment, one might be able to cook well, but the other might not, because they're genetically made that way. Some are made with better resilience. They have genes or traits which which gives them a better resilience to stress around them, while some are very easily stressed. They get easily anxiety. So we will be able to distinguish what is your inner trait, and then help you out with that, understanding that, so that you might be able to overcome that in the most appropriate or the most suited way for you. Rather than doing everything like genetics is always like one size does not fit all. So everything is tailor-made here according to whatever is your genetic requirements. So Priya, next slide. Priya, next slide, please. So before we actually go a little more deeper, I'm not assuming that everybody understands what is a gene or a DNA. So just a very, very small introduction to what is a gene or what is a DNA. Okay. So if you can see, we are all made up of cells, and the cells image is over here. And within the cell, we have our DNA material, which is usually, we know that this is how the DNA is placed. We've all read it in the textbooks, but it is made up of a double helical structure is also what you know. But the DNA is, I would usually call it as a thread-like structure inside, which is very, very long. How long? It is almost 6 feet, really as tall as we are. But within that, the whole DNA is not genes. Within that, you have smaller segments. And these smaller segments are what we call genes, approximately 30,000 in number. And these genes they dictate or decide how we look, how we behave, how we metabolize food, how we react to external stimuli. So everything is dictated by these genes. They rule us. So it is within the DNA. The whole thread is a DNA, and within that we have smaller segments which are called genes. So we have DNA, which is not genes also. They are responsible for housekeeping. Like we have maintenance for everything, right? So just like that, our body also requires a lot of mechanics and maintenance structures. So they are all, apart from genes, the other DNA structures are kept for maintenance. Next slide, please. When I was introducing the talk, or starting, I told about age reversal or longevity. So age reversal is a very, very fancy term, and that is actually a really very nascent stage in our country. But I have a clinic in Dubai too. But almost 50 to 60% of the clients who come to my clinic in Dubai are come for age reversal or something we call as longevity. So the aim here is not to increase your lifespan. That we are really good. Our doctors and hospitals are beautifully set up, and they have increased the average lifespan of a person. But what we're actually looking at here is increasing your health span. It is a difference between increasing your lifespan and increasing your health span. So when I say health span, the metabolic syndromes like type 2 diabetes and like obesity, infertility, everything, it nowadays in current stages, it starts at a very young age. So when it is starting at a very young age, their day-to-day activities. Their day-to-day activities. I'm sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. So yeah. So am I audible?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. So when you have a metabolic syndrome or a disorder which you have to tackle at age 30 or 35 or 40, it is very hard, because that is the age when somebody is at the peak of their career, and it is not easy. So usually we call these diabetes, everything. When I take the family history itself, patients tell me, மேம் சுகர் இருக்கு, பிபி இருக்கு, இதெல்லாம் எங்க அப்பாக்கு இருக்கு, அம்மாக்கு இருக்கு, வயசானதுனால அப்படின்ட்டு they tell that, so that it is already labeled as an geriatric or an old age disorder. But we are currently seeing a lot of clients with onset of these metabolic disorders at a very young age. And nutrition is a very important factor for aging. And I will just give you a little more detail on that. So what happens, or quickly again on the chat box, when I say aging, what do you think is aging? What do you think are symptoms of aging? You'll tell, like எனக்கு வயசாயிடுச்சுப்பா அப்படின்ட்டு. That kind of phrase, what are the symptoms do you think, it comes for aging? No hunger. Okay. Tiredness. Yes. First, you feel tired, lack of mobility, decreased energy levels, slowing down of normal functions, no sleep at night, weight gains, no sleep at night. Yes. Okay. Constipations, aches and pains, definitely. Feeling tired, less metabolic activity. Okay. So, have you ever thought why do we have these symptoms? Like 10 years ago, we were feeling a little more better, but why the sudden changes? What's the root cause behind the symptoms which you are able to feel, like feeling tired? Why do you think you're feeling tired? In fact, you would have become a little better with financial stability now in this 10 years gap. You would be able to afford really good food, or really healthy food, like shifting from a junk food to an organic food based home-based cooking. You would have had a stable career at that point of time. But only after everything, every stability around you in your career comes, you start feeling the symptoms of aging. Have you ever thought why? Stress and environment. So yeah. So somebody says exit time. Okay. So apart from all of this, the first thing your body feels is there is a delay in metabolism. Okay. The food you eat is getting either slowly metabolized, or it is not able to metabolize well. So, that is the first thing. Slower metabolism is the first sign of aging, which I said currently, like, even younger generation is, and obviously, when the metabolism is slow, you will start seeing hormonal changes in the body. Definitely for your energy, for men and for women, testosterone and estrogen plays a very, very important role. So now when the metabolism is slower and the hormonal changes and the hormone is fluctuating, definitely that's when you start is feeling the tiredness or starting the symptoms of aging. And obviously that leads to a digestive efficiency drops. So if you can see here in my slide, I've given an example of B12. For your metabolism, like thyroid glands or thyroid hormones are the engine. B12 is again very, very important for your metabolism. Until now, if you've done a master health checkup, at least half of you would tell me that you are vitamin B12 deficient. And relating it to more genetics, in India, at least the South Indian population, more than 70% of them are not able to properly utilize their B12 in their body. Sometimes they are mostly vegetarians, or those who are taking rich source of B12 are also not able to utilize them properly. So this deficiency is one example I'm going to give you how I'm relating this to genetics. So vitamin B12 requires some genes called as MTHFR genes, which is responsible for breaking down and metabolizing and distributing the B12 along your, throughout your body. I'm just making it very short, not going detailed into it. So we all, mostly South Indians, we have a change in this gene, which makes it inefficient to complete this task. When it's not able to complete the task, the B12 is not being efficiently used in our body. So what we have to do is we have to change the route of administration of B12. Instead of an oral B12, you might have to take a sublingual or an injection-based B12 so that our body is able to get enough B12 and do its work well. So this is how we relate genetics in depth into each of these parameters here. So, and then increased inflammation. There are a lot of genes which is responsible for inflammation. Even that we can have a look. So, and definitely when you are predisposed to a disorder, when I say predisposed to disorder, let's say type 2 diabetes, it is very common. You'd have heard appa ammakku diabetes sugar irukkunga. So, enakku irukku. I also have type 2 diabetes. It runs in my family. My father has high cholesterol. I have high cholesterol. So, the point we are trying to make here is that even though you are genetically predisposed, even though your family generationally has had type 2 diabetes or high cholesterol, we can avoid that in you. So that is what we're trying to imply. Because through your genetics, from the time you're born until your death, your genes are not going to change. So when I do your genetic testing, we would know early on that whatever disorder you're predisposed to, you may or may not get it from your parents. So we will be able to make that distinction. And in case you are prone to or at higher risk of getting a type 2 diabetes, then you can start lifestyle interventions early on to either prevent its onset or delay its onset. And in case you've already had an onset of type 2 diabetes, we can make lifestyle changes according to what your genes ask for, so that you respond really well to the medications and you don't increase in the dose. You're able to cooperate well with your doctor, and so that you overcome or outcome out of the disorder. So this is how genetics actually help you in all of this. Yeah, next slide, please. So usually in the genetic reports, what we give is a nutrition profile, which gives information on your micronutrition, macronutrition, food sensitivities. Next slide, please. And then we also look at micronutrients. So when I say micronutrients, all your vitamins, minerals, so all the vitamins, when I say minerals, choline, magnesium, selenium, magnesium is very common in the social media right now for sleeping, But we will look at, how good you will respond to magnesium. Do you actually require magnesium for sleeping? Or your lack of sleep is because of something else and not just magnesium? That's the root cause identification. So any DNA test would be able to give you a root cause of why you're showing such a symptom and start correcting it from there. Next slide, please. And then your food intolerances and allergy, your macronutrition, how you're able to process carbohydrate well, how you're able to process fats well. Next slide, please. And we are unknowingly allergic or toxic to a lot of common foods, like lactose, milk, caffeine, even salt, gluten, peanuts, egg. So, understanding these intolerances, that means your body is not comfortable processing these food. It is always beneficial to have this lesser number or actually eliminate them from your diet as much as possible. It'll on the whole or in the long run, you'll be able to feel a little more better. Priya, next slide, please. A lot of my clients who had lactose intolerance, just cutting down their tea and coffee with milk, has freed them from bloating, constipation, feeling better in energy. So all this has just lactose, just cutting down their milk consumption has given them a lot of benefits. There are a lot of these are the common health risks which we usually see and deal on a day-to-day basis. One is type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cardiac health, obesity, mental health, and the last one is regarding your baldness, your hair health. Next one, next slide, yeah. Yeah. So type 2 diabetes, everybody knows how to type 2 diabetes comes, or you have to do a normal blood sugar level, and then you check the sugar is higher, and then 3 months you have to do a HbA1c to see consistently your HbA1c is higher, and then doctor tells that you are type 2 diabetic, and then they start you on metformin. Priya, next. But this can also be managed really, really well using lifestyle interventions. So if you can see here, first thing I put it as eat smart. I do not put it as eat healthy. So when you say eat smart, say for example, there are two people who has the same workplace. They're friends for very long. They're in the same workplace and they have similar food patterns, social habit patterns, sleep patterns, and stress patterns because they are doing the same work in the same workplace. But one is already having a type 2 is type 2 diabetic and has issues, but the other does not have. This is where the genetic difference comes, because one person who's got type 2 diabetes is already genetically predisposed by their genes to have or to get a diabetes early on. We will be able to understand this difference a little more better or in depth when we do a genetic analysis. And when I say eat smart, whatever previously slides which I had showed about the micronutrients, macronutrient processing, the allergies and everything. So when we are able to give the DNA or our body what it actually requires, then we would be able to have a better response to our lifestyle. So that is why I didn't put, eat healthy, because one milk might be healthy for somebody and it might be toxic to somebody else. It totally depends on the genetic makeup. So, we have to choose wisely according to whatever is your body's actual requirement instead of dumping everything which is healthy into the body. Being active is very, very important because I just put it in simple words, what is type 2 diabetes? It says that there is high sugar in your blood. So whatever food you're eating, it is getting broken down into simple sugars, sugar molecules, but your cell is not able to take in those because the gates are closed. And to open this gate, to make it more sensitive to the sugar in the blood, movement is the best solution. When you move, there is more oxygen circulation and the gates become very sensitive. So you become insulin sensitive instead of resistant. And then you're able to utilize your sugars well. So being active is very important. But even here, how do we decide it based on your genetics? You would have seen a lot of people who go to the gym, do a lot of workout, but they don't lose weight at all. And on the other hand, you would have heard of news that people who have been working on the treadmill had got a sudden heart attack and have passed away. So even your genes can decide this is the threshold or this is the limit of exercise you can do. Or the genes also tell this kind of exercise is more beneficial for your body. So we will be able to, make a fitness routine for you based on what your body actually will respond to well, and then we can, make that as a fitness routine for a good lifestyle intervention. And then watching your weight, sleeping well, and reducing stress are other important aspects of managing type 2 diabetes. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, so India has seen a lot of growth in insulin diabetes, and then hypertension. So when it comes to hypertension, there is statistics which says that more than 50% of the people with hypertension are not yet diagnosed. Only 49% of them are diagnosed. And having something which is undiagnosed or which you don't know that you have is actually quite dangerous. So hypertension, as it is not a very big, disorder, but it is a symptom of something else bigger. Maybe a heart issue, maybe type 2 diabetes. Maybe it can indicate something serious more than hypertension. But what is the risk for hypertension? One is older age, but we're seeing high hypertension or high BP in younger age itself now. Genetics, definitely genetics plays a major role in hypertension. Being overweight or obese, not being physically active, high salt diet, and drinking too much of alcohol. Next slide, please. So these are symptoms of hypertension, and all these factors we will be able to identify through your genetic makeup or your DNA. So usually, as your lifestyle prevention, we would ask them to cut salt. Having food without salt is very boring, or it's lifeless. So I wouldn't suggest that cut salt in your daily food. No. When I say cut salt, it means that your high salt food like pickles, puppets, chats, Chinese items. So all these have high salt. It is advisable to cut these and have your regular routine food in moderation salt. Salt which is essential for you. So that is what we mean by cut salt here. And eating more veggies. So this will include a lot of fiber into your daily diet. Quitting smoking and limiting alcohol is one of the major factors. But there again, your genetics can tell you if you're actually sensitive to nicotine, if you can actually efficiently flush out nicotine from your body, if you can actually flush out alcohol from your system, if you're a slow flusher, or if you can flush it out really quick. Also, we will be able to distinguish these two. And also, you'll also be able to let you know if you're sensitive to alcohol retaining in the bloodstream for long time. So when we have this information, we can actually design your social habits to, because sometimes this becomes an essential part of your career also, given your state. Sometimes it is very difficult to leave it. I mean, let go of a habit or something. So we might have to be very mindful of how we bring it down. Stopping anything suddenly is not advisable. So you might have taken expert advice if you really want to stop it. But if you want to moderate it, or again make your social habits a little smarter, then we'll be able to do it with the information from your genes. And then relaxing regularly is very, very important for hypertension. Priya, next slide. Next slide. So cardiac health. So cardiac health is one of the major concerns for especially men and women, mostly after menopause, because as long as estrogen is being pumped in their body, they're known to be protected. Research says they are known to be protected from serious cardiac conditions. But for men, it starts early on. So it all the changes in the metabolism, stress, and the flexibility, it affects the flexibility of your vascular structure, that is your veins and arteries, and this increases your risk for cardiac health. Priya, next slide. But even for cardiac health, your lifestyle choices are a great when I mean, they're very, very beneficial for any cardiac condition. So eating heart healthy or heart friendly foods is one thing which you can start with. Apart from whatever your body actually requires. And then definitely an exercise. So when you have a cardiac condition, we'll have to be really, really mindful of doing high intensity exercises and also doing other exercises, because it can be very stressful on your heart at that time. But sometimes your body will respond only to high intensity exercises. That time we'll have to mix and match a lot of things and then manage your exercise routine. Definitely avoiding junk food is known by everybody. Getting checked regularly is very, very important here. And if you have a family history of cardiac conditions, definitely you'll have to be really cautious about it. Next slide. So genes have a lot of important role when it comes to cardiac health. So cholesterol metabolism and transport is there. And then, like I was talking about, B12. B12 is again got a lot of connections towards cardiac health. So understanding the B12 and its metabolism is again important. Your fat metabolism is important. Your blood pressure and inflammation is again important. We have genes. Priya, next slide, please. So we have genes for all of this, which contribute to your cardiac health. And we once we understand all of this, we will be able to smartly design your lifestyle. Priya, next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, so apart from just lifestyle interventions for cardiac health, we do have serious clinical, genetic panels for cardiac health. Apart from diagnosing a difficult cardiac condition, sometimes they have a genetic condition associated with it. So we screen extensively. We also look for something called as drug toxicity. Mostly Asian men are either resistant or have toxicity to statins. Statins is a common cardiac drug which is given for any cardiac conditions. So sometimes you might have to check if you are resistant to it, then the drug will not work. Your doctor might have to prescribe a new drug. Or if you are toxic to it, then your doctor might have to taper down your dose of the drug. So this will avoid any drug toxicity also. We'll be able to identify that through your genetic makeup. Next slide, Priya. Yeah, your next slide, we've seen all. Yeah, so if you have gone into a sleep zone, we will play a game for 5 minutes and then wake you up. If you guys can, start calculating points. I have 5 to 6 slides here, which has questions, and questions have options as answers. And for each answers, you have points being given below. Now you can start calculating your points based on your personal activities given in the question. Okay, so for example, the first question, how many days per week do you engage in physical exercise? Something like walking, running, or yoga. None. If you don't exercise at all, you get 1 point. If you exercise for 1 or 2 days, you get 2 points. If you exercise for 3 to 4 days, you get 3 points. If you exercise for 5 or more days, you get 4 points. So you can note down your points for this question, and for the subsequent questions, you can keep adding on your points. At the end of this game, I will ask your score. Next slide, Priya. Okay, how often do you have trouble falling or staying asleep? See, there are two things here you have to understand. One is falling asleep. That is, the minute you hit your bed in 1 or 2 minutes, you can go to sleep. That is one thing. And continuing that sleep until next day morning, staying asleep. You don't wake up in between. Maybe 1 or 2 bathroom break, one bathroom break is okay, but then you're able to come back and then go back to sleep again is important. If that after that bathroom break, if you're not able to go back to your sleep, you're not able to sleep well, then it is a breakage of sleep. It is a sleep disturbance. So falling asleep is also a sleep disturbance. Staying asleep is also, if you're not able to stay asleep also, it's a sleep disturbance. So if you have trouble in either of this, we have previous slide, please. If you have trouble in either falling or staying asleep, then almost every night, if it is troublesome, just 1 point. Few times a week, 2 points. Occasionally, then it's 3 points. Rarely or never, then it's 4 points. Next slide. So how often do you feel stressed or overwhelmed? So when I say stress here, everyday work stress is not actually considered stress. The recent research says that outbursts of stress actually has an impact on your body, rather than your everyday activities giving you small stress is okay, it's manageable. So if you have outbursts almost every day, then it's like 1 point. A few times in a week, it's 2 points. Occasionally, 3 points. Rarely or never, it's 4 points. Next slide. Yeah, very important. How many glasses of water do you drink daily? 0 to 2 glasses is 1 point. 3 to 4 glasses is 2 points. 5 to 6 glasses is 3 points. 7 or more glasses is 4 points. Next slide. How often do you consume processed or fast food? That is, you eat outside, not cooked at home, but you eat outside. Almost every day is 1 point. A few times a week is 2 point. Once a week is 3 point. Rarely or never is 4 point. Next slide. Okay, how many hours do you spend on screen outside of work? Phone, computers, or TV? So more than 5 hours is 1 point, 3 to 5 hours is 2 point, 1 to 3 hours is 3 point, less than 1 hour is 4 point. Next slide. How often do you consume sugary drinks or desserts? So when I say sugary drinks here, it also includes your tea and coffee with sugar. So if you're having your tea and coffee with sugar, then that also comes into this list. So multiple times in a day is 1 point, once a day is 2 points, few times a week 3 points, rarely or never is 4 points. Next slide. How often do you consume caffeine late in the evening? That is after 4 p.m. do you consume caffeine? If it's every day 1 point, a few times in a week is 2 points, occasionally is 3 points, rarely or never is 4 points. Next. Do you skip meals? So almost every day is 1 point, few times in a week is 2 point, occasionally is 3 point, rarely or never is 4 point. Next. Okay. Are you very cautious about your diet, your food? Like if you're bringing a lunch box from home in the afternoon, do you ensure that, only one box has rice, the other one box is completely filled with veggies, the other one box is completely filled with protein. So, this is something which you have as a balanced diet. So when I say protein, it can be either meat or dals. So are you very cautious about how you have your food every day? So rarely is 1 point, occasionally is 2 point, often is 3 points, almost always is 4 points. Next slide. Yeah. How often do you take time for hobbies or activities you enjoy? So we all love our work, I know, and that's why we are in this career. But apart from our work, we do have hobbies or things which you want to do. So do you actually spend time for that? Is what is my question here. So rarely is 1 point, occasionally is 2 point, often is 3 point, almost always is 4 point. Next. Okay. Do you choose whole grains or over refined carbohydrates? Are you very mindful? Instead of having, parotas, do you have chapatis? Instead of having naan, do you have rotis? Instead of having, something pasta, do you have, millet-based pastas? So are you very, very careful about this? That is what this question is about. Rarely or never is 1. Occasionally is 2 points. Often is 3 points. Almost always a very careful is 4 points. Next slide. Yeah. So do you want to put your scores on the chat box? So the purpose of this game was, not just to keep you awake or to, wake you up or something. But these points or these questions which I had put out as part of this game are healthy lifestyle habits. Painfully or knowingly or unknowingly, we have to follow these habits to have a very good lifestyle. And instead of me putting it as a slide and as points and making you bored, I just wanted to make it more interactive. And if you can see here, I took time to explain every question to you. It's because sometimes we have myths or sometimes we have understandings of these important lifestyle interventions in a very different way. So that is why I took time in explaining those questions. So I think we have a very healthy group here. Almost everybody is above, 30, 35 points. So we have a really healthy young and energetic group here. Madhu ma'am, we have to make a note of it. Okay, so next slide, Priya. Yeah. So we will be talking about a lot of lifestyle interventions, and I would be happy to discuss more in person also. Just 2 more minutes on mental health and gut health, and then I think we might have to wind up. Yeah. So mental health is different when you're younger and when you are older. Okay. So when you are younger and you get you do something naughty and then you get caught maybe in your 20s or your early 20s or even your early 30s when you joined work. There is some disturbances in your work routine or in your college you were cornered for something. Usually the stress over there is less or the impact it has on your body is lesser than actually what you have right now. No, there is a difference. Obviously, your age, your status in the society, everything has gone up. It's not easy for you to digest something. But this is not just environment or not just your thought process. It's little more deeper than that. So I think we can go to the next slide also, Priya. So here it is very, very important that I talk about your gut health also. So next slide also. We'll go to gut health. Yeah. So when I'm talking about gut health, it is gut is where a lot of your neurotransmitters or the hormones which is responsible for your your happy hormones and everything, it is being produced in the gut. So, gut is a place where all this hormones start, and that is produced by friendly bacteria called probiotics. You might have all heard of probiotics. It is very, very common right now. And these probiotics, as we grow older, because of the abuse we have on the lifestyle and on the gut, we'll be able to see that the good bacteria come down in number, and a lot of unwanted bacteria or bigger bacteria, the disease-causing bacteria go higher in number. So there is a dysbiosis in the gut. So where if you can see that this is maybe due to environmental stress, due to abuse of the choices of food you make, the intolerances which I was talking about. Sometimes unknowingly you've been taking in food which is stressful to your body, not stressful to your mind, but stressful to your body. So all this has caused a very an imbalance between the good friendly bacteria and the bad disease causing bacteria in your gut. So when the good bacteria come down in number, the happy hormones also come down in number. This in turn directly affects the way your brain processes a lot of things, and that is why stress is very frequent in older age. And you have a lot of depression, anxiety, a lot of geriatric disorders like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. They all come at supposedly coming at 80, but now we are looking at a lot of people with Parkinson's and dementia at age 45, 50, 60 itself, which is really not nice. We can actually, if we give undue attention to your gut and balance the bacteria, so we will be able to actually push the onset of any of this, or even if you're genetically predisposed to Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, you'll be able to push it to a later onset, maybe 80 plus or 90 plus. So for this, we usually do a gut microbiome testing to understand what is the percentage of each bacteria which is present in your gut. And if your good bacteria has come down, we can make personalized probiotic capsules and then we prescribe them to improve your gut biosis, so keeping your gut healthy. And coming to the gut, I think I actually missed two more important conditions. Priya, you can go back to the infertility and hair health slide. Yeah. So when talking about your hair health, hair and skin, it becomes a very, very important part of our life, given in our current career stage. So genetic plays a very major role in determining how your hair also stays strong and you don't attain baldness, an early baldness or early maturing, a premature graying of hair. So it has a lot of combinations of nutrition over there. And Priya, we can go to the PCOS slide. And when we're talking about a lot of men-related health, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a major hormonal issue or a gynecological issue present in women where they have irregular cycles. So next slide, please. So this has contributed to a lot of issues for them, not just irregular cycles and weight gain and infertility, but it affects, next slide, it affects every organ in their body, starting from their mental health, hair health, skin issues, fat profile, liver health, their infertility issues, fatigue. They are very dead tired during the day, and they're sleepless nights. They have sleepless nights, poor mental health, and digestive health and weight gain issues. So labeling somebody as PCOS is very, very difficult. But then it has been identified that PCOS has a high genetic contributor to it. So, they actually passed on to their offsprings also. Next slide, please. Yeah. So apart from genetic tendencies, your lifestyle abuse can also cause PCOS. Now we were thinking PCOS is only for women, but recent research has shown that there is a male equivalent of PCOS. Male do not have ovaries. So it doesn't come out as menstrual cycle problems. But on the men, they have other cardiovascular diseases. Very morbid obesity. Whatever they do, they're not able to reduce weight. Diabetes, mental health and behavioral problem, hair fall, so complete baldness, prostate cancers, and kidney diseases. This is kind of a metabolic syndrome which you can see almost is present in the males also. So this is again, like in the next slide, please. In the beginning of this talk, we were talking about slowing metabolism and hormonal changes. So this is all interlinked. And if you can see that insulin resistance, lower testosterone levels, Testosterone is very, very important for their muscle mass, their weight gain, their day-to-day activities. The male strength, which we usually talk about, is because of testosterone. Abdominal obesity and cardiovascular risk also increases when they have such issues. Next slide, Priya. Yeah, and so apart from all of these metabolic disorders, infertility as a clinical conditions, we have a lot of genetic factors involved in infertility. If somebody is having an infertility issue, it could be, it not just all this, whatever we were discussing so far is all lifestyle, not just lifestyle. It can be a little more deeper also. We even do something called as couple carrier screening. We match the genetics of the husband and the wife, the father and the mother, to see unknowingly if they are passing on any conditions or giving any genetic conditions to their child, which is causing an infertility issue in them. This is also highly possible. So that's how we help out with infertility. Is usually a personalized session. We sit with them. We try to understand if there can be any genetic factors in them. Yeah, next. So gut health we just saw. You can final slide. I think with gut health, this presentation comes to an end. I'm sorry it took a little more time than the given time. I'll be happy to take in more questions.
Doing this kind of a genetic test, what kind of a cost involved initially and subsequently?
Okay, so it's very common that whenever I talk about genetic testing, costs come to their mind first. The cost, though it's a little pricey, it can range anywhere from 15,000 up till 1 lakh, depending on the test you want to choose. But you have to understand this is a one-time investment. So it is not like a blood test which you're going to keep repeating continuously every month or every year. You don't have to repeat it. Once you do a genetic testing, maybe the traits you can keep adding on every year, maybe some few extra bucks, and then new traits can be identified. But the testing per se, this is a once in a lifetime testing which you can do. So considering, the amount of expenditure a person makes towards, like just say type 2 diabetes, the expenditure they make per year to manage a type 2 diabetes, when you compare it with this, it is actually nothing.
I agree with you. It's almost nothing with the kind of a stress and other things being carried over. This 1 lakh, I think you are almost giving free only.
No, yeah, you can choose between 15,000 to 1 lakh. There are different, it just 1 lakh is comprehensive. You have everything into that. 15, you can just start with to understand, how this testing works, and then maybe you can, build on to that also.
And this one, is it a dynamic or is it a static one? This genetic what we are talking?
Sorry?
The situation of diagnosing and understanding this genetic also keep on. Is it a dynamic situation or is it a static situation once for all given?
So see, your genes, they will not change from the time you are formed as an embryo inside your mother's womb. I dig out your grave and take out your bone. Your DNA does not change at all. So it's the same always. So some things which might change is your gut microbiome keeps changing. Your gut keeps changing. When you give it good food, then good beneficial bacteria can change. And something we have another test called as epigenetics, which actually measures your biological age and instead of your chronic age. Chronic age is your number. Biological age is the aging of your individual organs can also be looked at. Sometimes people who are sick or who are battling a metabolic disorder like diabetes and cardiovascular disorders, their biological age will be higher than the age in number. So, so this is alone very flexible. But whatever genetic testing I've been talking about in this presentation today, which talks about your food intolerances, your lifestyle-based genetic test, it's a once in a time. It's once. It does not change at all.
Will it also give some solution to neurological issues like fits or seizure? If a child is having something like that, by checking the DNA, can you suggest the medication or cure something like that?
Yeah. So seizures is a very broad spectrum term. Especially when it's in a child, it can either mean something temporarily or it can also mean something very in-depth. It can also be a symptom of a genetic disorder. So, when the seizures is unexplained, when there's an unexplained fever, doctor feels we might require more insight. It's a clinical genetic testing. Where you might have to book a genetic counseling consultation first, where a 3-generation elaborate pedigree is taken. We look at a lot of things, and then we can do a genetic test to identify any diagnosis, genetic diagnosis for the child.
Okay, this is
So,
basically
and apart from this, autism and ADHD is very, very common nowadays. So when it comes to this, also sometimes parents are scared of having another baby. Because they have a first baby with autism or with some genetic disorder. So in that case also we can consult the couple and let them know if it is genetic or not. If it is not, then it's okay. In case if it is genetic, now treatments have improved to such a condition that we will be able to choose our embryo and avoid any genetic conditions in the next child of the couple.
Thank you.
So,
Good evening, Janani. Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, hi, ma'am.
Hi. So that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you for,
Thank you.
sharing those in-depth insights. So before I dive into my questions, just a quick introduction. I'm Rahmatul Bari, a 25-year-old clinical dietitian and early stage founder. So I basically got introduced to this session by my mentor, Dr. Casey Johnson, and I'm really glad that I joined in this space. Yeah, so that's a quick gist about myself. So I had a few questions, while you were explaining. So firstly, how do we evaluate the credibility of a genetic testing lab? Because this genetic testing is, like upcoming in India, and we could see a number of labs coming up with gene test. So how, as a layman, we can, trust a lab based on, their accreditations or certifications? Like, what should we look upon? So if you could give me an insight on this.
Currently, these tests don't have an accreditation. I mean, as far as at least the wellness tests are concerned, we don't have an accreditation as of now. So the ICMR it is like a dietitian's protocol, like the FODMAP protocol, low diet protocol, what protocols you follow. It is something like this. But a clinical lab usually comes under an NABL, and they have an NABL or a CAP accreditation. This is for a clinical sector. But wellness is not, it does not have any accreditations as of now. It is more of the way you understand and the way you can make use of the information which is present over there.
Okay. So now there are different methods to interpret these genetic tests, right? Like,
Yes.
while I was
Yes.
talking to different labs to understand how the
Yes.
genetic test is actually being done, different labs say different methods. Say, for example, one says next generation sequencing, and the other one says SNP arrays, other one says polygenetic risk score, right? So which is the most effective method to interpret these genetic tests?
Okay. So I will still stick to the wellness part which we are discussing. So when it comes to this wellness part, see, next generation sequencing and SNP array, as far as the points which is required, see, next generation sequencing is just a type of sequencing. Okay, SNP array is a fixed points. As far as the points which is required for wellness, SNP array is efficient as of now. We have enough data procured from an SNP array. We can get them done. So next generation sequencing has a lot of techniques within it. Next generation sequencing is just a name of the machine which is being used. Okay, the SNP array machine also comes under that umbrella only. So that is the difference over there. So going a little bit in depth, maybe it will be very boring for the people here. We can connect in person. I can explain the technologies involved in it. Polygenic risk scoring is a method of giving the risk, like how do I say? We have sensitivity and specificity for every test, right? So to make it more specific, to make it more sensitive, using a polygenic risk scoring is ideal.
Got it. Okay, ma'am. And also, you were talking about the age reversal and longevity test and all of it, right? So, I mean, like, what biomarkers would you actually look up for, while taking the biological test? Like, is it epigenetic clocks or telomere lengths
Yes.
or inflammatory
Yeah.
markers? What exactly do you look at?
Epigenetic has got useful information right now. Telomere is still under research stage, so we have not yet got it established for an aging testing. So as of now, whatever if you spend and you take and you get useful output from it would be an epigenetic testing.
Okay, so do we have any time frame to see results, like before 6 months or after 6 months? Like, are there actual change with the telomere lengths or whatever biomarkers that we are testing for age reversal?
In case you're putting your client through an age reversal protocol, like some IV drips, hyperbaric therapies, cryo chambers and stuff, after 6 months, you'll definitely see a change in your biological age numbers.
Got it. And that
Yeah.
we'll have to test twice, like before and after, to understand
yeah.
the changes, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
Excuse me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I
Thank
think
you.
I'm taking a lot of time, so like I would love to connect with you outside this room
Sure,
and
please do,
have a
please do.
deeper conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Excuse me. I think Dr. Janani, I think we've almost completed, and the rest of them can
Yeah.
connect with you later. Thanks a lot for your presentation. I request Mr. Casey John to formally propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Janani, from my software background, I thought that DNA is like a computer program, but far, far more advanced than any software ever created. So speaking to your DNA is very important because you laid out the entire biological code, which is determining not only the health, but the wellness. It's a great presentation on behalf of the Madras Chambers and on behalf of all the participants. I want to extend our warm thanks to you, Dr. Janani, for an illuminating talk. And I'm sure your lab is going to be flooded with lots of requests for genome mapping and understanding what else needs to be done. It was a great illuminating talk, and we are very thankful to you for carving out time for us and helping us to see the possibilities. Genome mapping and the wellness is something which is full of possibilities, and irrespective of the age group in which we are, we have plenty of things to do. Thanks a ton.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Dr. Jenny, we can log out.